he takes the hit from Rotus. Rotus does 0 damage to my Ultimate Deathknight. Rotus, out the meta. Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I've honestly never seen a champion drop where I've wanted to do so much content, and I feel like I'm spamming it at this point. So this is going to be the last Ultimate Deathknight video that I do, but it's a really important one because it actually kind of forces the issue of this champion is not just an early game, mid game champion. Okay, all of the content I've shown so far is helping newer players progress through dungeons, progress through Doom Tower, progress through Clan Boss, start on Hydra. Yeah, they're all areas of the game that newer players struggle with and actually need to get on top of to push themselves towards the end game. And then so the end game players are like, well, this champion's just going to sit in the vault for me. No, he's not. If you're an actual end game player, he might have been one of the most influential meta-breaking champions that has ever been released. Yeah, there's been some times in the game where the arena meta flips. It's totally flipped. One of those times when Swift Parry Gear was released. Yeah, another time reaction accessories were released. Another time Rotus Sifi going absolutely berserk. Yeah, another time people started to understand Trunda better. Yeah, there's been some like moments where the game changed. The whole kind of arena meta changed. And I guess the most recent time one would have been Stone Skin coming into the game. And it actually completely annihilates certain champions that are doing well. Well, Ultimate Deathknight does that to a ton of meta champions. Now, one thing I would say is whether you're at arena endgame or not, this video will still help you, okay? Because you need to understand some of these cool things, these cool interactions that Ultimate Deathknight's got in his locker, because it will help you in lower level arena as well. The difference though, like if you look at my account, every champion that I build that I actually use has got like a specialist build. They've been built to do a job. Yeah, and the further you get into the game, the more end game you get, the more you have people doing their own roles with their own builds. You don't have these kind of like jack of all trades anymore. You have people that's like, right, that champion's been built for the arena, that champion's built for Fire Knight. Yeah, and they've all got their own teams. And honestly, that's where the game gets even more fun if you like kind of min-maxing and really trying to push your account. But what Ultimate Deathknight can do is some silly old stuff. And it's all about, for arena, his passive, Too Awesome to Die. Yeah, so, and some people probably misinterpreting this. We certainly didn't fully understand it when it was just words on a screen. The more you playtest, obviously, the more you get to get under the skin of how it's coded, how it's interacting in the game. And that's why passives like this, generally, it's worth getting these champions. I know this was a free one, but if you see someone with a funky passive, generally, it's worth trying to pick him up because eventually you'll probably find an awesome use case for it, especially when it's one that's kind of as niche as this one. So you got here, for the arena, bear this in mind, for the arena, this is 100% of the time. When we looked at other content so far with bosses and stuff, it's like 50-50s. Now we've got 100% use case, which is kind of nuts. So whenever an ally is attacked, 100% chance of blocking the hit. Yeah, so, and instead, the ally takes 0 damage, Ultimate Deathknight takes the hit. Some people are like, why is Ultimate Deathknight getting the debuff from a hit? Well, it's because actually it's coded in a way that the first person doesn't even ever receive the hit. It just is as if that person, that enemy is hitting Ultimate Deathknight. That's the way you need to think of it. It's as if they are hitting Ultimate Deathknight with any single target skill. Now, it also works if you've got a champion that does an AoE hit that has then got a conditional second part to it, which is AoE. So champions with examples of that are champions like Trunda on her A3. She AoEs your team. The second part is conditional. Yeah, did you land a stun or not? Yes or no. If you didn't, I'm going to hit again. Yeah, so when she hits again, the first hit of the second part will hit Ultimate Deathknight. And it will take it away from your leader or the person who's alive, who's in the highest order in your team. So bear that in mind as well. Hefrak does the same sort of thing. Magnar, same sort of thing. Yeah, Skull Crown, same sort of thing. The second hit is a conditional hit, and therefore Ultimate Deathknight gets involved. So some of the AoE nukers have probably just gone down a little bit in the pecking order. Not massively, because AoE damage is still going to be pretty damn solid, I think. But the single target guys are in trouble. This is the meta change. Okay, people that have been in the meta for a long time are probably going to have to be rethought and certainly won't be used on arena defenses going forward at like a plat level because they're so easy to counter now. I will say Ultimate Deathknight with this passive, which is awesome, will not be great in an arena defense team, or certainly won't be as influential because you see exactly what's going on. He's hard countered by like a Ramantu. He's also just hard countered if you know what he's going to do. So you just bring in full AoE damage like a Constantine or a Leo or, you know, a champion that you know is just going to straight up do AoE damage because he is not influencing a straight AoE nuker. But there's a couple of cool interactions. So I'll talk through them first. Then I'll talk through how I'm going to build mine. And yeah, and then I guess we'll kind of test him out against some of the people that he's absolutely nullifying. So first cool interaction, because he's taking the hit. Yeah, bear that in mind. He's taking the hit from any of the single target stuff. So the set where you take a hit, Frostbite and just Frost set. If he's in that set, any hit that comes onto your team, he's got a chance to freeze the enemy. Yeah, this is also relevant for PvE, I guess. But because the single target hit is transferring to him, he's actually got a chance to put a freeze on that champion. So it's not a terrible set to put him in for like an arena offense team. Don't forget, you're putting him in an arena offense team because you're controlling where those single target hits are going to come. That's quite fun. Also, I mean, I wouldn't suggest this is the build to go for, but if you was to put him in something like a retaliation set or a avenging set, you know, one of those ones where you've got a chance to hit back. Again, he's taking the hit, so he's got a chance to come back. And when he does, tell you what, he's got a provoke on his A1. So you can actually, and against legendaries, it's a 75% chance to land. So you can actually make him pretty damn annoying with some fun stuff like that. But I'd say, you know, 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, 95 times out of 100, people should be building this guy if you're using him for the arena in stone skin gear. Yeah, because ultimately, what's he going to be doing? He's taking additional hits. Stone skin pretty much makes you unkillable. So he's just going to be tanking up the damage whilst the rest of your team get a chance to do the work. I guess another quite cool thing just to bear in mind, because of that A1, yeah, reaction set's going to be awesome on him because he, well, it's pretty simple, right? He's going to be taking a bunch more hits. So if you've got a massive chance to just reduce those hits to normal hits instead of crits, damn, like, it's crazy. Yeah, the other thing which will be pretty damn fun on him, I think, is a revenge ring or revenge gear. 5% chance if you had 3 pieces, 15% chance to counterattack every time he takes that hit. Again, he's got a chance to land that provoke. So pretty, yeah, I mean, I just feel like he's got a lot of influence points in terms of just the way you gear him. So these are the masteries that I've chosen. I don't know if this is 100% optimal. I think it's pretty damn bang on. I'm going to be looking at a resistance build. Honestly, because of his passive, you don't necessarily need to be full masteries for this guy. Originally, I was thinking maybe Bulwark would be good, but he's already tanking up the damage from your allies anyway, so I don't know if it's worth taking, like, they're not taking the 5% in the use cases that you've got for him, unless you're using them against, like, a Trunder build or something like that. I guess you could just go Iron Skin, extra defense, but for me, I'd like to go high resistance on him. Now, because I've already told you, like, Stone Skin is the way forward for properly endgame arena builds. My Stone Skin resistance gear, and I'll show you in a second, it's probably not good enough for resisting, like, you know, decent attacks. If I've got someone coming at me, you know, with their kind of like 700 accuracy type stuff, I'm probably not going to be able to resist that. So it's going to end up being like the mid-tier builds, like, I don't know, like a Warlord style attack where maybe they haven't got enough accuracy. That's about as good as I can do. I still feel like resistance is about as good as you're going to get for him. Because he's in Stone Skin, you don't really want him taking turns super quick, I don't think. I think he can be quite slow. His shield skill is good. You're going to want to build high defense on him so that he can build, give your team as high a shield as possible when he actually gets a turn. The rest of his skills, you're like, I don't really care about using them, honestly. It's about the passive and then maybe landing a shield once he does get a turn. So in the optimizer then, basically, I've already loaded in his masteries here. I'm looking at going for stone skin 6 pieces. Yeah. And I'm looking for an okay amount of health, a strong amount of defense, and then high resistance. That's the only 3 stats that I care about in this build. And I basically look to optimize as best I can, see what sort of numbers I'm pulling back. 5k defense, 600 odd resistance. I'll go for the higher resistance for a little bit of defense. 50 odd k health, super slow. Okay, I ended up with this build here. I did find some different gloves. So 55 odd k health, 5k defense, 583 resistance. Maybe people would run him faster, honestly. That's the build I'm going to look to do. And I'll show you kind of some of the silly things that he makes happen. Okay, then we're going to look at a couple of kind of prime targets here. Rotus, Seafy, Candy. Can I get this to work? I don't know, but hopefully I can show you some of the interactions here. I will try and play this on a slow mode. See what we get going on. Okay, so my Turvold's just going to come in. Let's just see if we can't do a bit of work with Turvold. See you later, Duchess. So, goes for him. He takes the hit from Rotus. Rotus does 0 damage to my ultimate Deathknight. Rotus out the meta as a defense champion. Yeah, because as soon as you see him, Deathknight comes in and protects whoever he's going to go for and basically takes 0 damage. This is another cool thing. Candy comes in, obviously, with his AoE. If Candy does his A1, hopefully we'll get to see it. Candy does his A1, it'll be even sweeter. Okay, let's just sit her down again. Again, takes the damage away here. Takes the damage away here. See, he's taking damage. Let me just pause that for a second. He's taking damage because we're reflecting back through Ultimate Deathknight. We're reflecting back Brogni's shield. Okay? You saw, I saw going on. The double hit. Sorry, Candy. There was too much going on. I've slowed it down and I'm just coming back to what's happening here. Candy's coming in for the big smack. Now you're thinking, whoever he's going to hit, Ultimate Deathknight should take the first hit and then whoever's left should take the second hit. That's the way it reads, right? For some reason with Candy, Ultimate Deathknight takes both hits. Look at this. 1, 0, 2 zeros. Candy's A1, which is one of his strongest things. Oh no, that's not going to do any work. His AoE still will, but the A1 is not doing any work. there's almost too much to be talking about here. Because this team is such a perfect team to be fighting against. Sorry, nothing Rotus. Seafy trying to sleep me. Well, actually, what would have happened there is you would have tried to sleep my Ultimate Deathknight, and Ultimate Deathknight has got stone skin on, can't be slept. Seafy, sorry, out the meta. It's like, it's pretty insanely, like, incredible what this guy's doing for your team. Double hit. Both gone on to Ultimate Deathknight. Shouldn't happen that way, I don't think. I think that's perhaps a glitch, or I don't really know why that's happening. And then obviously we can just get in there and get the job done. But yeah, Rotus, Seafy, Candy, all affected if you've got Ultimate Deathknight coming in that stone skin gear, which is significant, okay? Because they are absolutely, all 3, massively in the meta. Okay, let's just do a couple more. So I think Mortu is also going to be impacted. Mountain King will be impacted. Hedgie could be impacted. There's a whole bunch of the champions that are used in arena defenses that could be impacted. So Mortal's Peril skill, for example, will now go after Deathknight. If Hedgie was set up right with an A1, I could show you an interesting one there, but we don't really get to see that often. So let's just get some hits away. Try and get Mortu to get his passive active. Oh, it's active. There we go. See that? The first hit Deathknight. The second hit his actual target. So the chances, I mean, the Deathknight hit should just be like a 0 damage hit anyway because he's in his stone skin. The chances of him taking you down with a single hit on Peril is a lot lower, especially if you've got a team well protected and that type of stuff. So Mortu He's not totally nullified. He's still got his second hit to use, but he's definitely weaker for it. Let's just see Hedgie's hit as well. So Hedgie hits 2 hits at random with his A1. Normally, people open with this. It tries to hit one of the team. It actually deflects with the first hit to your ultimate Deathknight, and then the second hit will hit somebody at random. So again, like Hedgie, you're at least soaking up, what, 50% of the randomness, I guess. But yeah, for a champion that, you know, was originally deemed a bit of a meme, and I was in that camp as well, honestly. Damn, he's got proper endgame utility. And, you know, we're talking about plat level players here. I look at him saying he is a must build. He is a must build. And, you know, at plat level, they bring him into the team when they need him in the team. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I run him in my team all the time. You look at your enemy and you're like, oh, yeah, that's an easy takedown if I've got ultimate Deathknight in the team. That's the type of mentality. So, I mean, it's kind of nuts that somebody that's coming as a free champion has got tons of utility for early game, mid game, to help them try and get through the game. And then there's actually got genuine utility at like a plat level arena to completely change the face of the meta. Pretty cool, right? Pretty solid. Anyway, I've been Hell Hades. I feel like that's going to be my last Ultimate Deathknight video for a bit, because I'm like, damn, that's about 6. Anyway, I'll catch you later.